Hi guys and girls, welcome back to my channel. I do hope you're doing well. I thought, because we're still on the mend from being a little bit poorly, let's have a sit down video. A sit down video with something that's quite relevant this month. And this month is all to do with harm and prevention, mental health. It's a very, very big awareness month. So alongside many other things of International Women's Day that we have in March, I thought this would actually be a fitting month to sit down, really get everything off our chest, because I feel we've all had Christmas, we've got New Year, there's the government are just, I don't even want to know what the government are doing with the taxes and that. And I think at the moment a lot of people could be feeling quite unsettled, quite uneasy. And I asked over on my Instagram and emails, and it doesn't seem like I'm alone, my lovelies, because I can't lie, I have been very unsettled these past few months. And it seems like you guys have too. As I say, everything on here remains anonymous, but thank you so much for sending in. And I'm not going to read it because we've actually got quite a lot to go through. So this month, as I say, it was all about mental health, harm prevention, any tips, tricks, anything that we can all do to help each other. And as I say, I had an abundance of replies, so thank you very much. Let's start off. The schools are a million times worse with support, and take it from someone who's gone through it. So I asked over on Instagram and the emails when I was doing it, do you think there's enough support out there? Like, where do we have like comforts? Where do we have the support and the reliance of professionals? And one of my lovelies here unfortunately says that the schools are a million times worse with support. Now, I don't know, I don't have children, I don't have anyone in my immediate family still in school, but when I was at school, if say a child was a little down, they would call you a little down, like you're a little bit sad, you would go off to a blue room and you would talk to someone, and she would make notes, and if she needed to, she would liaise with your parents or other authorities if needed. I don't know how that is now. If anyone else has children in schools and agrees with this comment of that the schools are a lot worse with the support, please do let me know, because I think if you are feeling like that from such a young age, the support needs to be there at the beginning to try and help nip it in the bud, see what can be done, because if you don't, things like this fester, and as you get older it can get worse. Trust me, I have always been an overthinker, even from when I was like a child, of to what order my dolls would go in, to now into adult life where I overthink absolutely anything. Dan sometimes sits there and I'll say to him, I'm really worried about Shan, can you also tell me? And I'll tell him and he'll be like, that's never gonna happen. And I'm like, but it might. My brain is telling me it might. So yeah, I think things like this, and if you are down, and learning how to cope from a young age so that when you become an adult it's not so what do I do, and there's no one there to talk to. If you can, try therapy. Every adult could benefit in some way. Now, I must agree with this. I done therapy, I believe it was last year. I'd been going through a bit of a wobble, let's just say, and a company actually reached out and said, would you like to try some of our therapy on offer? And I had 3 months with a therapist lady, and I must say at the end of it I did feel a lot more lighter. I know people probably think, oh, that's so cliche, but I did. And it was weird because the stuff we spoke about, we went back all the way to like my childhood. Like, I'm talking like 3-4 years old. She was going through like my earliest memories, things that had occurred in my upbringing, certain situations I was in, or that me, mum and dad was in. And it was kind of like, right, that could be a reason why you're like that. When she asked me about myself and like, oh, like, I can't remember how she worded it, because they have to be very calming and like very at ease with the flow. And she said something along the lines of like, could you wake up one morning and not like someone or not love someone? Something like that. And I said to her, I could talk to someone and in the blink of an eye, I could turn off just like that. And she was like, that's not a great thing. That's a coping mechanism from trauma. And I'm like, okay. And it wasn't until like we delved way, way back into my childhood that things slowly started to make sense. And Dan always says he's never met someone who could be as cutthroat as me, because I could literally just dum. Once my head isn't in it, or once my heart's not in it, I don't find it hard to cut people off, which Mum says I'm very callous. She says I've got a black heart sometimes. She's like, a black cold stone heart. I'm like, because you have to protect yourself at all costs. And I think I don't take any disrespect off immediate family in general. So I definitely don't take it off of people that I don't know. And I'm very much, say for example with prior relationships, once that chapter's kind of done and dusted, I'm like, right, this isn't working. I've given it 2 years. We're still in the same rut. That's it. Goodbye. And I can wake up the next morning and go on with my days. And Mum's like, how can you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. Apparently I must be a little bit wired wrong. But therapy did help. And as I say, I don't know if therapy is available in the NHS. I will try and leave some links below to therapists and like helplines that you can talk to, because I know there's quite a few helplines out there, but therapists, I'm not too sure how that works with the NHS, because the better help that I done, it was expensive after my trial, and I was like, first off, I couldn't justify the pain, even though I felt better for it. My circumstances at the time, absolutely not. But it does go to show that you don't necessarily need a therapist to talk to. You just need a friend or someone like a complete outsider. As I say, if you called a helpline, as I say, I'll try and leave them down below. It's just to offload and get it off your chest, and someone to see something from a different perspective and just to listen to you. I think sometimes that's all we need, just to be listened to every now and again. I was signed off work for a month with my mental health pressure at work. I was signed off work for a month for mental health. The pressure at work being one of the reasons. When I spoke to my management, they didn't take it seriously and was crying at work as a result. Now, I think this is something I'm very strongly about. Workplaces are not equipped to deal with mental health to the best of their abilities. I know now, so I'm first aid trained. I had my refresher course, when was it, last September? So for another like 2.5 years, I'm first aid trained through St John's Ambulance. But there is a mental health first aider that I would love to get put on, but I don't feel like we're doing that at the moment with my workplace, because we've got so many different courses going on. But I do think all workplaces should have a mental health first aider, because it's not even stuff within work. It could be stuff outside of work that could be affecting your in work potentially. But then, as you say on this one, you voiced it to them and it was through your work pressures, and your management didn't take it seriously and had you crying at work. That is not a place you want to be, my lovely. And I really hope you're either not there now, or you are a lot better. And if they was to ever laugh at you again, that is not needed, because that's detrimental to your mental health. And to go to management or someone senior and be like, this is how I feel, this is what I'm struggling with, and it not to be taken seriously, or no one's being held accountable to try and help you, that's not nice. So I do hope that you are on the mend, my lovely. I hope potentially you are out of that place, because that doesn't sound a good place at all. I feel we need to love ourselves and take time to relax. I love a dog walk and we stop for a coffee. Now that, for me, so when I get really overwhelmed and I get to a point where nothing's making sense in my head, and you know when you just feel like all these voices in your head and you're just like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. I go for a walk. I just get my bag and off I pop. Whether that be a walk around the block, whether that be a walk to a country park, whether that be a walk into town to get a drink, I find walking is the best way out. You can have the quiet, you can have the hustle and bustle, but all of your surrounding noises, all the silence, takes your mind off of what you're thinking. And I definitely do think that sometimes we just need that little whew. Or sometimes, as I say, I don't have a bath here. My time, if I was having a little bit of a meltdown at mum's, I would just go run myself a bath. I would just go run myself a bath and relax. What I actually do sometimes, now here, I like to just go and sit in the scandals with Shan chair. Put a big blanket around me and just sit and read. Reading for me is another great escape. If I'm ever feeling like, right, I can't do this right now, I just go and read, and it takes me out of this world and pops me into a book world, which, you know what, to escape reality for half hour, an hour, I absolutely love it. But I do think that, I wonder, let me know guys, what do you do if you're a bit stressed? What is like your decompression? Do you go for a walk? Do you read a book? Do you listen to music perhaps? Let me know, because yeah, I'd like to see everyone's takes on what they do, because as I say, these types of videos, I like them because I feel we're all sharing tips and tricks and stories, and hopefully it can help each other, and that's what we're here for. I think the mental health service is massively overworked. I contacted my mental health team in crisis and I got through to someone else. My team never got my message and had no idea. 3 weeks later, I get a call saying that they never knew I even called. How? How can you not take a message and pass it on to the correct individual? And then this poor lovely, you probably would have had to re-go through everything when you was feeling at that time. I do think it is massively overworked. I think in general the NHS is overworked. I think there needs to be some restructure, something, because I don't think it can carry on surviving the way it is right now. And especially with the mental health side, that seems to be not up and coming, but more precedential, I would say, than a physical cut, for example. I feel there's definitely not a lot of support out there in terms of the mental health side, and that's sad, because a lot of people think because you can't see it, it's not there, like hidden disabilities, for example. But our mind is the thing that is with us 24/7, and if our mind is not good to us, don't get me wrong, we all have good days, we all have bad days, but if your mind is particularly not nice to you and reoccurs to not be nice to you, it can be bad. And there definitely needs to be like that support system where you can just go to and speak, and like this lovely, but your caseworker never knew. So there needs to be a communication between the patient and the team or the therapist or whoever it be, so that everyone's updated and everyone is still looking after and keeping in contact with each other. Aye. One of my lovelies says, there's a good documentary. Oh, what's this? There's a good documentary on BBC Player about a place in Scotland. You should watch it. Okay, my lovely, if you could DM me what it's called, please. Thank you very much. One of my lovelies says, my husband had a breakdown due to work before lockdown. It's taken 5 years and a family tragedy to get it. I'm so sorry for that. I do think lockdown has been a huge root cause of a lot of mental health problems. I feel the isolation, the separation, the worry, the fear. We was kind of scaremongered. The media wasn't being nice, to be honest. And for some people, going out and about or their workplace, it was sometimes the only form of communication and interaction they had with people. So when that was taken away, and obviously businesses closed and everything when we went into lockdown, to then, depending how long that person was off work, I was off for 3 weeks and was called straight back in. But some people was off for months and months and months. And if that was the case, you're almost in your little bubble, and then you've got to go out and explore. And some people don't like to. Some people would have got in that bubble and been like, no, I'm okay staying here, thank you. No. And then there's nothing that was out there to help bring people out, help with the elderly getting them back out. Like, it saddens me when I see elderly people and they have their masks and everything on now, and they just seem so scared to be outside. And I think you've had, like, if they've had jabs and everything like that, but I feel that the fear was definitely put in people over lockdown to don't do that. And I mean, we all know what the politicians was doing, don't we? So I am sorry to hear that, my lovelies. I do hope he's on the mend and it's all, you have got through it. But 5 years, it's not an easy fix. A lot of people think, oh, you're having a bad day, it'll pass tomorrow. Sometimes it does, but sometimes the bad days last more than a day. Sometimes the bad days last a couple of days. They might last a week. They might last longer. They might not ever go. You might always have that little niggle in there, and I think that is sometimes what the misconception is, to you're having a bad day to actually you have a mental health condition that No, it's not just a bad day. You may need medication, you may need a therapist, you may need something to help you alleviate it, just not someone saying you're having a bad day. Whew. My 2 daughters suffer with mental health, and it's very hard when there's no help from the doctors. See, this is like, what is there for doctors? Because my lovelies, I don't even waste my time now with a GP. I'm currently in the process of transitioning from my old GP at mum's to one nearby the house. But my GP, he passed away just after lockdown actually. And then we had relief doctors, where basically it was a different doctor on call at the surgery. So you never had that one regular person like I'd always had with my doctor. But now, to call up, as I say, you guys will know the palaver I had trying to get antibiotics. I couldn't get antibiotics for weeks upon weeks. So I ended up having to get mum to try and get them for me, because they was just so... My old doctors, well, the one I'm currently transitioning from, they were still set in their ways of phone consultations. So you couldn't just go in and see the doctor. You would have to wait, normally 2 to 3 weeks for a phone consultation. Then it would be 1 to 2 weeks after for a Skype, so that you could see them face to face through a screen. And only then, if they decided it was required, would you be able to go into the surgery to get an appointment. Now, if you're someone and you just need to talk to someone, like physically talk to someone, sit in front of someone, a screen is not going to do that. And by the time of trying to call through and you're waiting for this and you're waiting for that, what is the point? And that's the thing I get very frustrated on, because I think there should be the help for people when they need it. And as this lovely says, her daughters, there's no help from the GP. So where are you meant to turn to? What are you meant to do to try and combat and help alleviate these situations? There's just, I'm with you there, there's nothing. Right, one of my lovelies. Hello my lovelies, hope you, Mama G and Dan are well. Thank you very much. I'm a silent subscriber, as you know, but I love and like all your videos, and your home is beautiful. Thank you very much. Regards to mental health, I've been diagnosed with CPTSD and have been told I have to pay privately for therapy, even though I have horrific nightmares where I wake wet from sweat, daytime flashbacks, and feel totally anxious all the day. I do not qualify for NHS help. This is so NHS do offer therapists then, but what are their guidelines then that would constitute who's relevant or who's applicable to get that? Because I would say this would definitely be available for it. I don't know how soldiers and armed forces cope once leaving the forces, because I am struggling massively. I wish those in charge would spend more money in the NHS and sack the money grabbing fat cats who are taking the vast amount of NHS funds. Corruption. Corruption across the line, across the board. That is something that isn't just within the NHS. I think it's in like charities as well in general, and that's something that just, it infuriates me. It really does. Sorry, I best shut up because I'm getting upset, as the mental health is still such a taboo subject. I'm so sorry. You can always message me. I mean, we speak regularly, but you can always message me. I don't see why, because the brain is part of our bodies, yet it's almost an avoided subject to speak of depression, yet another illness is okay. It's impossible to get help with mental health where I live, and it's sad. I've known a friend who almost unalived himself and still was passed around the mental health care via phone calls to be told, no, we can't help you. Sending love to you all. Lots of love to you as well, my lovelies. Is there a fly? Something just in my peripheral vision. This is what aggravates me, because I think there is a lot of people and time that waste and abuse the NHS, and situations like this where they could put a little bit of money and resources into the mental health side, they're not, and people are really struggling. And to say you have to pay privately for the therapy, is there, I take it there's nothing off the government, like they can give grants or help towards private therapy costs if the NHS can't provide it? I just think no. See, I get aggravated with the NHS, I really do. And as you say, the ex-forces that are on the streets and struggling, there doesn't seem to be anything for them, and what they gave is sometimes, I think they think, what on earth for, with the way the country's going. But mental health, it is still a taboo subject, and I don't know why. For something that is so worldwide now and quite common. I mean, I know quite a lot of people who struggle with various conditions, and it is still such a taboo, and I don't know why. I don't want this channel to have any taboo subjects. You know, over on these Sit Down with Shans and Scandals, we talk about everything and anything, because I think sometimes you might just want somewhere to vent and just send it in anonymously and be done. And if I can help in any way, I will do, my lovelies. Oh, Canon. Sorry, my lovelies. One of my lovelies says, where do I start? I can't see my doctor when I need to, and you can't just make an appointment. You've got to only be seen when they can fit you in, and then you can only see them about one thing on an appointment. So it's not like it used to be. Not enough care for these types of conditions, and I think it's very, very bad down here. That's the thing as well. The since when did that come in? A one thing rule. You see a GP, but you can only talk to one thing. So if you've got a sore elbow and you're having banging headaches, you've got to choose which one to talk to them. Yeah. I don't understand it because of the amount of money that gets put into it. I really, really don't. I mean, I know when I had problems with my feet, I went to my GP. God, I'm talking, I was like 14, 15. And they said for me to get referred was going to be up to a year. And I'm like, I'm in agony here. So I was lucky enough. I worked hard. I had a little bit of savings. And I went private and I had it sorted and I was done dusted. But it infuriates me that people working, you're putting money into a system and then you can't use it. And I don't know, I feel down the line the NHS might get privatised. I don't know whether it will go back to how it was in my nan's day where you used to pay for a doctor to come out. I really don't know, but I do definitely feel like it gets abused. And I mean, one thing, imagine calling somewhere and being like, you know, like a call centre where like, oh, I want to do a balance transfer and I want to check this and statement. No, you can only do one thing, please. You probably just sat on hold for half an hour as well. Oh, yeah, go. Hi, my lovely. Hope you're all well. Mental health is a massive thing now every day. Someone unalives by bridges or trains. And I run a pet group, as you know, but I also cover mental health. I have people ringing me all hours to get help, and I've gone out at 4 AM some mornings to get people off of bridges and away from roads. I've been on the phone for hours, sometimes talking people down to get them safe. Aww. My brother unalived himself many years ago with no warning, no letter, and nothing. So I've always said that no matter what it takes, if I can save one person, then I'm doing one thing right. I ask on my group all the time if everyone's okay, and if not, to get hold of me 24/7. I don't care what time it is out there, and I am there if they are needed. Mental health support is next to nothing, and it takes a strong people to do it. As people say, it's a coward's way out, but it's most definitely not a coward's way. It's a brave thing to do, and I just wish people would talk to someone, just a stranger, as a simple hello can help mental health. However, it's all pushed under the carpet, and it needs to be out a lot more, and support needs to be given. It's too late when they're gone and the questions are being asked. They need to be asked well before it happens and to stop it happening. I agree with everything you said there, and hats off to you for your group. Having that support, them people, just to have you at the end of the phone and the things that you're doing. You're doing what authorities should be doing off of your own back. And I can't lie, I've seen a few things lately of people who are no longer with us and there is no warning. There's no message. It's literally they would go out and they wouldn't come back. And I completely agree with you when people say it's a coward's way out. It's not. No matter what way that ending was to occur, at no point is that a coward's way. You're knowingly inflicting such pain that can never be reversed. And we've had family members who have no longer with us through circumstances, and if I ever heard anything regarding cowardice absolutely not, I would probably be like red rags to a bull, because I think no one knows what goes through people's heads to make them suddenly think that, you know what, it's actually not worth me being here anymore. And that is why there needs to be the support. There needs to be, oh my God, if there was more people like yourself on the authorities and the system, oh, I love that. That's very, very lovely. And as I say, just speaking to a stranger, it could make their day. We never know what it's like. I'll always make sure if I'm walking and, like, say someone's like, I'll always smile. Sometimes you don't get a smile back. They look at you like you're a little bit weird. I'll always smile, because sometimes a smile, you don't even have to say anything. A smile is just like an acknowledgement that you've been seen. And sometimes people might feel like they're not seen. But I love that one. Thank you very much. I'm dealing with my low mood and the doctor wanted to give me tablets. However, I've refused. So I'm taking it one day at a time and it's hard. However, the way I cope is to try and have me time by reading or pampering. Good for you, my lovelies. I do think sometimes, would you say medications sometimes make the issues worse? Do we think that the GPs, when you can get to see them, are very quick to just prescribe tablets? That in essence can sometimes numb you, not make you present at all, and it kind of deflects off of the issue at hand. I, for one, I don't even really like taking paracetamol, to be honest, guys, because I just think your body gets used to it and then it will rely on it. And yeah, I try and do everything I can to not have to take paracetamols or any form of anything like that. But I do think medication is sometimes very quick to be given. But good on you. And as I say, you said on here that how you cope is by having read time by pampering or reading. I love that for you. You pamper yourself, my lovelies. One of my lovelies, where are we? Oh God. You know when your phone just goes a bit haywire? Yes, that's what's happening now. Compared to 2016, no, there is nothing even going back. Then you got 10 visits. I did go to meditation, which helped for a while. Tell you what did help. This week I went to the bottom of the garden and just let it go. You know what? Sometimes we just need to vent, whether that be a scream, a cry, something. There's no shame in that. Sure as hell got everyone out to check I wasn't being hurt. And I do feel so much better. Venting depends. If the sis answers the phone, she gets it, as do friends. And you. Well, I just shoot a venting email, which works even better, to be honest. We vent to each other. We are, if one of us needs to vent, if one of us are having a rubbish day, we chat and it's like, you know what? I feel better now. That's all you need sometimes. You don't even sometimes have to physically speak to someone. Just jot it in an email, send off, done. All of that worries getting sent through the internet. I'm very good at sorting out others' troubles, better than my own sometimes. It used to be cleaning the house from top to bottom or weeding the garden, but now it's finding a really good book that I can't put down, or at the bottom of the garden after the weekend. Mine is nothing compared to some people who really need it, and the help makes me angry that they're not able to be there. Thank you for always being here for me. Aww. You haven't got to thank me. God, the times that you've had my random emails in your inbox, eh? Thank you for always being there and your continued support. I feel like a lot of people use cleaning as a coping mechanism. Gardening also, but I'm with you there. It's the book now. But if you need to just go and vent, it's not uncommon if I'm having a little bit of a moment, I will grab a pillow and scream into it. Or I will, normally if I'm having a meltdown in the mornings, I'll be driving and I just scream in the car as I'm driving. You do get a few weird looks on the motorway, I can't lie. They're probably thinking, is she okay? Just having me like hysterically crying and screaming into my car. But it's a way of getting it out. And I'm hoping that now we're starting to get settled in the house and things are getting lined up, I might have other avenues to let stresses out, which I think I should know next week if I'm gonna do it or not, but we'll see. But my lovelies, that is the end of Sit Down with Shan. And as I say, I will try and leave as many links as I can down below for helplines and chat lines and everything like that. But please, please, please don't ever feel you're alone. If you want to chat, my email is down there, my Instagram's down there. I'm not going to lie to you. I cannot be like the lovely lady on here who is open 24/7. It does take me a while to respond. It's normally 7 to 10 business days. I'm being completely honest here, guys. Life can get very chaotic sometimes. But when I see the messages there and I know that there's a few there, I'm like, right, one lunchtime, put the book down, reply back. So I do try and reply back with as much as I can, my lovelies, but I'm only human. I'm only human. But hopefully if I've left the numbers down below, there's people there who are trained. I'm not trained. I'm just a ear at the end of the phone or a person at the end of a screen, just try and help in some way. But I like to think that these videos, we all help each other. So if you did enjoy the video, my lovelies, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe down below. And as I say, let me know, what is your best coping mechanism? And have you ever maybe spoken on these helplines? Have any of them I've put down below been of use, or you know of anyone who has, or any that you could recommend? As I say, the comments, I feel like a lot of you guys, we go through and you might be able to pick up, because I see some people reply on other people's comments, and I like that. We're a community here. But take care. Stay safe as always. And as I say, I'm only a little email away, okay? Take care, guys. Bye.